everyone, welcome to another Whiskey the Pooh's Bourbon Reviews. I'm Whiskey the Pooh, your humble host. We've got a fun one today, folks. Fan mail. Some kind friends in the internet land have sent Whiskey the Pooh some letters that I'll read for you tonight. If you'd like to ask Whiskey the Pooh a question, go ahead and send me a message at the podcast on Instagram. Dear Whiskey the Pooh, that's me. I have enclosed in this package for your review 1 bourbon barrel-aged honey made from local raw honey from only the finest 64,512 bees, collecting the very best pollen from 14 million flowers in central Pennsylvania. We then took that glorious barrel that nurtured 7 pounds of pure, raw honey and refilled it with triple old blend and aged it for 3 months in a 1-gallon barrel, which according to the interwebs is equivalent to about 1 year. It was then bottled at 107 proof, non-filtered, finished bourbon and sent to you to quench your honey and bourbon needs. We hope you enjoy this honey-finished bourbon and bourbon-finished honey, and thank you for all that you do by reviewing items on the honey market and keeping us well informed as to which honey products we should be purchasing. If you don't like it, we'll probably just go eat worms. Sincerely, Eric and Laura. You can find them at Bourbon and Blush Boutique on Instagram. I'll put it right here for you to read it. So unfortunately, in transit, the thing I was looking most forward to, the honey, shattered and was a sticky mess when I opened the package. Unfortunately, I won't be able to try that, and it's really a disservice to those bees that put such hard work into making that bourbon-finished honey. But I did get this little bottle of joy. It says Greenway Stillhouse. It's got a very gooey logo with some honeycomb, a bee, and some moonshine liquor. Let's give it a try. The saddest thing about the nose on this is it makes me realize what I'm missing out on that shattered vial of honey. Quite delightful. Very craft. I'd say it's a daily drinker if it were me, but what does a Pooh Bear know? Very fine craftsmanship, Eric and Laura. I really appreciate the care that you put into sending me this care package. I appreciate you very much, and hopefully I'll get to try a taste of that honey soon. My next letter comes from another friend on Instagram. I think you'll like this one. Dear Whiskey the Pooh, still me. I'm your #1 fan, next to Christopher Robin, of course. You have a love for honey like no other, and 100-acre Woods Honey Steward badge to prove it. It's true. I appreciate you always opening your honey bottles and sharing your knowledge with us. I thought I would recommend a pairing that you may have in your home. Oh boy. Have you ever tried honey buns and Weller Antique? I think it would take care of that rumbly in your tumbly. It's so delicious, it could be in a magazine. It said to wink, so I winked, but I'm not very talented at winking. Tell Piglet I said hi, and tell Grease Jinkos are back in style. Your friend, Whiskey Mutant. You can follow him for more pairings at Whiskey Mutant on Instagram. He does yeoman's work by pairing delightful snack treats with bourbon whiskey. Now let's get to this pairing. It just so happens I have a honey bun and some Weller Antique. What I love most about this bottle is that it looks kind of like a honey pot. Now, one thing that my friend Eric the Whiskey Mutant neglected to point out is that there are many brands that use the term honey bun. You could get a Hostess honey bun or a Little Debbie honey bun. Knowing him, I feel like he leans Little Debbie, so that's what I have on hand. But he did not specify, so for your knowledge, this is a Little Debbie. You always have to read the ingredients to see if there's real honey in these things. Enriched bleached flour. Nope. Riboflavin? Nope. Palm and soybean oils with TBHQ and citric acid to protect flavor. If hope they're protecting the honey. Aha! I found it. Says here dried honey. I would prefer that it were sticky honey. It's good to know they do use some sort of honey in here. Now, I don't know the origin or the region or the varietal, but at least it has some real honey and not some of that weird, like, castoreum beaver flavoring that some whiskeys use. 100 Acre Woods. It smells like a donut. Oh, bother. That's a delightful pairing. Honey bun and Old Weller Antique. I can see where he gets it. I was afraid that the whiskey would overpower the honey bun, but they go together very nicely. I get more spice than I'm used to on this wheated bourbon, the Weller Antique 107, 107 proof. Tastes delightful. And the sweetness of the honey bun and the hint of dried honey that I get on the palate of this honey bun, bother, it's great. Well, folks, that's gonna do it on this episode of Whiskey the Pooh's Bourbon Reviews. I hope you enjoyed me reading some fan mail. Thank you to Eric and Laura for their very thoughtful special treat. And thank you to Eric the Whiskey Mutant for his suggested pairing on today's show. If you'd like to learn more about either of them, Bourbon, the letter N, Blush Boutique, or at Whiskey Mutant, both on Instagram. They do fun things on there, and I love all three of them dearly. Thank you so much, and if you would like to reach out to Whiskey the Pooh, send me a message at the podcast on Instagram, and you just might be featured on a future episode of Whiskey the Pooh's Bourbon Reviews. And for now, I say goodbye and wish you all the happiness and honey in the world. Thank you for indulging me. If you would be so kind as to subscribe to this channel, give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to support the boys at the podcast, go to patreon.com/thepodcast. Thank you, and this is Whiskey the Pooh signing off.